Good evening, America. It's 6 p.m. Friday. I'm here live streaming. My voice is almost gone. I'm hoping we can get as few patrons as possible here at 2425 South 200th Street in Seattle, Washington. I'd like for us to protest, stand here for the Bundys. I figured tomorrow 11:30 would be perfect. I apologize as my voice is I'm trying to recover. I try to rest most of the day. And so the remaining of the day, probably like 2:30 is when I started. So hopefully again tomorrow we can all come out here about 11:30 a.m. on Saturday and stand here and make sure that our patriots know that we're here, and let the families know that we're here for them. You know, it's just at least a simple gesture that we can do for the family, for the sacrifice they've endured, you know, and putting themselves in the front line for the Ammons and our country. As I continue to think about this whole process, if anybody dealt with family courts, you or those that have not dealt with family courts, you got a taste of what happens in family courts. All the criminal proceedings that you saw there in front of your eyes, the ones that attended the trial, that happens on a daily basis in family court between Child Protective Services, their Nazi agenda, Nazi social workers. They lie, and the judges go with it, and they don't even hold them in contempt, nor for perjury or obstruction of justice. This happens on a daily basis. So you imagine all the mothers and fathers that lost their children through Child Protective Services. So you guys got a glimpse of the criminal racketeering and extortion that happens within the criminal. Imagine what happens in secrecy behind closed doors. Things that American people don't see on a daily basis, and why? They don't want reporters there, cameras, or video and audio recording. So just think about that. Think about all those family members that have lost their children through this so-called government de facto government. So that's, you just got a piece of what actually these kangaroo courts do, and it's all run by the American Bar Association and their unconstitutional orders. So, why did I say that? Because they're running under de facto and they're violating the organic 13th Amendment. But let me go to with regards to the common denominator between the Bundys and Child Protective Services, the courts. Bill Clinton passed a law that states that any child that's removed from their parents and goes into a foster care agency, they get $6,000 to $8,000 per child per month. Imagine that. Our tax dollars paying these foster care agencies $6,000 to $8,000 a month. On top of it, between the judges, the lawyers, the congressmen, the senators, and your state representatives and your governors and mayors, invest in these foster care agencies. No different than what we're having right here in this federal courthouse, where it's a private corporation where they invest money in when they hold, falsely, unlawfully hold our patriots, prime example, our patriots, where they're charging us while they're innocent, while they're sitting there innocent, per day. That means per blanket, per toothbrush, per pillow, per cover. That's what they're charging us, the taxpayers. You need to know that, because that's your money that's being spent. So we have to understand money, because the only way it'll get through anybody's head is when it affects your wallet. It's the only way we'll understand. Once it starts affecting your wallet is when people start getting involved, or your guns. So now, if they were convicted, they'll start removing your guns. No different than Child Protective Services when they try to get you on a domestic violence. They come and get your guns. So this is crucial. So what Hillary Clinton has orchestrated through the American Bar Association have hijacked our entire three branches of government. This is not a lie. I want one family member out there to challenge me to participate in one of these kangaroo courts of Child Protective Services. And go ahead. And then when you get done, look it up. Who passed the law to give between $6,000 and $8,000 to a foster care parent or a foster care agency while the child's being removed? And who pays for that money? No different than we're paying this courthouse. This is why I'm saying it. And I said it twice, because I wanted to get to people's heads on how you're being defrauded. And the common denominator is Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. They passed these unconstitutional laws. They're profiting. They are profiting off of us on a daily basis. These are crimes being committed upon us by them. The corruption's so deep that the only way to restore is to eliminate every freaking bar member from all three branches of government. Eliminate the American Bar Association, abolish the IRS and the Federal Reserve. It's the only possible way this republic can be restored. Look where we are today. If you don't believe it, if you don't believe me, look where we are today. John Lamb said it perfect. We got Joe Robinson, didn't do anything, a World War II veteran incarcerated. That's charging us money, and they're stealing his land. You got the Hammonds. This de facto government stole the hardworking ranchers and other 50 hardworking ranchers from Harney County, their land. All associated with Hillary and Bill Clinton and Uranium One. No different than Child Protective Services and giving children between the foster care agency between $6,000 and $8,000. And the common denominator is them. They call it the Mandela Act. Don't take my word for it. Research it. And I'm going to continue to say the common denominator is them. We cannot have them, we cannot elect Hillary Clinton, period. All she's going to do is cover her crimes like Anna Akins and Anna J. Brown, all these appointed judges they appointed in Navarro from Nevada. They're going to cover up the corruption, the racketeering, and their extortion. So I want to make that crystal clear, because guess what? It's affecting your pocket, your money. You're the tax dollar. You're the taxpayer. You are the cattle that brings them butter. And they're laughing straight to the bank at your expense. So who else do we have out there that's in it, falsely and unlawfully incarcerated? From Alaska. I know Schaefer Cox. Schaefer Cox was around when my custody case occurred and took place, and the fraud and corruption, which I had the privilege of Jeremy Baker trying to help me out, and at the time I was young and naive, and I didn't realize how corrupt the system was in Alaska, as corrupt as it is in Oregon and Washington and Florida and New York, in California. Child Protective Services and the prison population of how they profit. Michelle Fiore exposed that. Go look up Michelle Fiore exposing the prison. Other people have done it. It's a billion-dollar industry, just like Child Protective Services. Is why they eliminated Senator Nancy Schaefer and Senator Ted Stevens Senator Ted Stevens from Alaska, Senator Nancy Schaefer from Georgia. She was assassinated. She was murdered by our own de facto government when she was exposing this child trafficking. And we know Bill Clinton, we know Congressman Boris, we know Governor Rick Perry, those that follow the Family Law Incentives Act know the criminals within our political infrastructure that have participating in this. John Podesta, he's a satanic worshiper that likes to drink sperm. I mean, these are coming out of WikiLeaks. And bloods from the babies. Where are you going to get these babies from? From the Middle East? From South America? Central America? Where? Africa? It's happening here in our own backyard. Through Child Protective Services. Why do you think when Senator Charles Grassley from Iowa, the same Charles Grassley that exposed Uranium One and Hillary Clinton with China and Russia and Canada, the same senator, don't take my word for it, also stated that there are 5,100 Pentagon employees in child pedophilia. And yet the American people went numb, quiet on this issue. 5,100 Pentagon employees. When Senator Charles Grassley went there, he was stonewalled. And he was working with Senator Nancy Schaefer. Again, the same senator from Iowa that exposed Uranium One, Uranium One, Hillary Clinton, the Hillary Clinton Foundation. This is the same senator. Don't take my word for it. Go to WikiLeaks. You'll see his name in the documents. Those are the documents that support all the evidence that we are trying collectively to demonstrate to the world on how and why our Bundys are unlawfully incarcerated with their Hammonds. And the land grabbing with the BLM, U.S. Forestry, and Department of Fish and Wildlife. All these are government de facto agencies. And they're perpetuating fraud upon us. Why isn't these criminals incarcerated? It's a common denominator, the Clintons. And the Bushes too, because the Bushes are not that far behind. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. It affects us both. And it affects our pocket because these criminal families organization or mafia organization are covering each other up. And they will continue to cover each other up until we stand as a nation under God, indivisible. So I want everybody. I want people from family courts that have been victimized, the parents have been victimized, to come out here at 2524 on South 200th Street tomorrow in Washington, in front of the federal detention center at 11:30 tomorrow. Because we're fighting the same de facto government. We need to come together. All the natives that are here in Washington that want to protest for what's happening at the pipeline in North Dakota, we're fighting the same demon, the de facto government. And it's through Harry Reid, through House Bill Resolution 116, in which he participated to pass this pipeline, and all they did was change the lane from Keystone Pipeline to what it is now. I want you guys to come out here. Because we need to stand here in solidarity as one voice, as one nation. So we're facing a criminal enterprise from all directions. If they don't hit us through our lands, our minerals, and our water, they'll hit us with our children. And then our wallets. What are you going to do? Go in front of these kangaroo courts? The same kangaroo courts, I'll give you a prime example of Oregon. And I'll continue to use a prime example of Oregon. Here you go. Bill Clinton appoints Anna Akins and Anna J. Brown. All from Lewis and Clark Law School. Stacey Beckerman, also another appointed judge from Lewis and Clark Law School. Sally Amanda Marshall, another Lewis and Clark member of the law school. Now you have the judicial branch infiltrated by these these pawns. Let's think about chess, pawns. But for the Clinton organization, the Clinton mafia, and they create these hedge funds. Now you have Greg Walden, Jeff Merkley, and Ron Wyden, also from the Lewis and Clark Law School. Now, you know that you're under a de facto courtroom, and when you have a complaint, who are you going to write that complaint against? Anna J. Brown. The Bar Association, the same members that they pay dues to the American Bar Association. Do you honestly think the American Bar Association is going to do anything for you? I don't care if you're in front of them because of your children, or because you're there for your land, your water rights, or fabricated charges like the Bundys and the Hammonds. You're facing that. So now let's say you do go to the judicial misconduct and you write a complaint against Anna J. Brown. Well, guess what? Anna J. Brown is a board. She's a board member of the Oregon Bar Association. They're gonna laugh at you when you bring your complaint. Do you honestly think that complaint's gonna do anything to you? Why don't you ask Robert Curtis, the other gentleman, the other rancher that they stole their land? He's still incarcerated. He lost his land. He lost his minerals. He told the world that Anna J. Brown's corrupt. Is Anna J. Brown still practicing law? Why don't we ask the Bundys? Ask our patriots. So does the system work? So Anna J. Brown is a board member of the American Bar Association, or the Oregon Bar Association. They're gonna laugh. You know what they're gonna do to your complaint? They're gonna shred it, and she'll continue practicing off the bench. That's how corrupt the system is. And then you want to go to your legislator, your state representative, who? Cliff Bentz? Ron Wyden? Greg Walden? Ron Wyden or Jeff Merkley from the Lewis and Clark Law School? You don't think they're going to cover up their buddies? The crimes they committed against you? If you don't want to take my word for it, by all means, look how many letters Robert Curtis sent when he was going in front of Anna J. Brown. Or what about this? Why don't we ask the Hammonds or the Bundys? When Anna Akins herself should have recused herself for conflict of interest. Not just through family members that work with the U.S. Forestry and the BLM, but also she has money in hedge funds and the minerals. It's corrupt. And Anna J. Brown is not far behind because they both graduated from Lewis and Clark Law School. And now you have new additions like Stacey Beckerman. What do you think Stacey Beckerman's going to do? She's going to take that mantle and run with it. Because guess what? The board is set up for her to defraud all the Oregonians, from Josephine County to Malheur County to Baker County to Harney County. And where are you going to take your complaints? To Cliff Bentz? Jeff Merkley, Ron Wyden, Gordon Smith, Greg Walden? Who? The American Bar Association? Or the judicial misconduct? I want you guys to see the common denominator behind this. Just think about it playing chess. You got your pawns, you got your bishop, you got your knights, you got your king, and you got your queen. They're all placed there systematically to defraud us. And the corruption goes beyond. And this just doesn't stand in Oregon because, see, in order for Jeff Merkley and Ron Wyden and Gordon Smith and Greg Walden to conspire in the land grab, they also needed help. They needed help from other congressmen and senators from other states to make these public law bills. Don Young from Alaska. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Mark Begich from Alaska. And they all have the same thing in common. The hedge funds through minerals and land and water. Don't take my word for it. Look at the Pacific Crest of 2015 and 2017 bill. That's going to affect Washington and California in 2017. What you've seen right now in North Dakota it's nothing compared to what's going to happen in 2017 if Hillary gets elected. Because she's part of this. She is a common denominator with Harry Reid and George Soros and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. The New World Order, the Agenda 21, like Dennis Michael Lynch stated earlier today. Renewable energy. And Florida's not far behind because Marco Rubio is also involved in this crap. Paul Ryan's also on this crap. They don't represent us. These criminals do not represent, and they're part of the Bar Association. Marco Rubio should not be in office. He's part of the Bar Association. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. He's from Florida. From my stomping ground. And he's a criminal just like Ron Wyden and Greg and Jeff Merkley and George Soros and Henry Kissinger. He goes and puts his tie and his beautiful three-piece suit and fancy talks all the way through the podium. At the end of the day, they go behind the back room, smoke a nice cigar and laugh at us, saying, ho ho, we really screwed them. We're really showing them how much we really care about them. They're depriving us of our freedom. Ted Cruz is also involved from Texas. Who are you going to replace him with? Governor Rick Perry? The one that's behind the child pedophilia over there? Through Children of Alliance? All these are criminals. We're re-electing criminals. And that's what they are. And they're covering up their crimes, and they're covering up their crimes, and they're covering up their crimes. If you were to commit any of these crimes, including treason upon the Republic, because they got the NDAA Act, would they prosecute you? Would you be prosecuted? Would your family member be prosecuted? I want you guys to know this. Between Alaska and what happened here, it woke me up. It gave me a huge eye-opener. Between the family courts and the land grabbing with the BLM, U.S. Forestry, the EPA, and Department of Fish and Wildlife. Huge. And I followed the money. If you follow the money, you'll seek the truth. You know, all I want you guys to do is move this video as far and wide as possible. Because this Clinton Mafia organization needs to be crumbling. Including all these dirty politicians. And Michelle Beckman's not far. Because look how many children she has under foster care and how much money she's making from these children. I'm telling you people, it's not your Republican or Democrat. They're both conspiring and defrauding us. We cannot be silent. We cannot no longer stay on the sideline. We can no longer allow this criminality to continue in Washington, D.C. and our state capitals. Because if we do, what are we going to leave for our children? So, I always say it, and I'm going to continue to say it, bring our military back home. It's time to hang all these bar members. It's time to bring down this de facto courts. It's time to get rid of the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and Child Protective Services. The Department of Fish and Wildlife, the U.S. Forestry, the EPA. It's time to get our lands back, especially our state national parks, in which they gave to UN. Where in the hell does the Constitution tell any of these corrupt politicians that they can give our land to the UN? Who the hell is the United Nations to come here in a constitutional republic violating Article 6, Section 2, Clause 2, including our dirty politicians violating their oath of office? Because that's what they're doing. And if you don't believe me, look at Joe Robinson's case. Look at the Hammond's case. Look at the Bundys and our Patriots case. Hell, look at my case. And Child Protective Services. When the mother of my child was found substantially neglectful in 4 consecutive years. 4 consecutive years, child neglect and endangerment. And the only common denominator between that is who her sister is an attorney for the oil pipeline. So-called native, protecting the natives. She doesn't protect the natives because she sold out the natives, even though she is native. She sold out. Look it up. Melissa Flannery, the state of Alaska. Look her up. She sold out the natives. So this affects you, Native Americans, especially in Alaska, because you got ExxonMobil and they're selling your lands. These criminal lawyers, and they're part of the lawyers, they're part of the American Bar Association, and they're criminals because they're violating the Constitution. This is why I'm able to go public and run my mouth, because I did my research and I faced the same corrupt legal system, defective courtrooms that are Bundys. The only difference is that we were there to stand up for the Bundys, but they do this on a constant basis, on a daily basis, behind closed doors. And you can't bring anything. Let the documents speak for themselves. All people need to do is read the damn documents. I'd rather be with my friends, drinking beer, watching football, especially tomorrow, college football. I'd rather be out tonight partying. But I can't do that because I have a conscience. And it's killing me. You know that we got innocent men locked up. And what's happening to other families around this country through Child Protective Services. And all the farmers are losing their lands. It's hard to sleep. Because when you know the truth, it kills you. So all those people that have been victimized, please come tomorrow. 11:30. If you can't come, that's totally understandable. But at least let's make an attempt. Let's try for the Bundys. And we don't even know if these Patriots won't be in Nevada to spend at least some kind of decent Thanksgiving with their families. And you know, and if they're here for 2 weeks, John Lamb, Kelly Stewart, Deborah Vinatucci, if you guys can come over here, I mean, you guys do an amazing job. I am not you guys. You guys are better than I am in this. Gavin Syme, Nathan Syme. I beg you guys, come over here. I will be here with you guys. Let's start mobilizing. Let's bring every family member that's been dealt with the de facto government and every poor rancher that has lost their land. And those people that getting screwed by the IRS. Let's bring them all here now. It's time to get the attention of the world. Because we're no longer free. And for those that think you are free, do not file your income tax and see what JJ McNabb would do to you. see what this de facto government would do to you. If we're honestly free, do not pay the IRS. Do not file your income tax. Let's see how really free you are. Let's see how freely that what they say we're free and send our military overseas to fight for our freedom. Let's test it. Let's test to see how really free we are. Because I guarantee you we're not free. So America, good night. I hope the Bundys are comfortable tonight. You know, I hope they're staying warm and they're being well fed. So all I can do is my prayers, and you know, and my spirit can be with them. And I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow at 11:30 to do what I can. And I'm asking for you to come and show support. And let's become, you know, one voice. So good night and enjoy your weekend, and God bless us all.